The Chili's Jingle is a simple song. It only has 9 words, but it still coats our brain like barbecue sauce. It also happens to be one of the most influential songs in pop culture. Don't believe me? Then watch this.
Did somebody say baby back ribs?
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back.
Ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. Cheers.
Please, baby back ribs.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Dear God, what did they say? Ribs?
Never. They never say ribs.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Okay, I see your point.
So how did a 15-second jingle about spare ribs become so embedded in our brains? We're going to look back at who created the catchiest meat-related jingle of all time and how Chili's just can't seem to let it go. This is also our first example of the advertising cinematic universe crossing over into other franchises.
Chili, baby back ribs.
Chili's started its advertising in the mid-80s with Austin-based ad agency named by initials GSD&M. Their first commercial is a pretty forgettable one. I can only find it as an MTV pop-up style video, but it features a couple ordering dinner after a school reunion. Told ya, pretty forgettable. It seems that people didn't like the ad, including Chili's executives, because in 1986, GSD&M found out they were about to be fired, unless they could come up with a jingle for their baby back ribs. This is also known as bite and smile, a very popular tactic used in the food industry. The thought being that if you're eating food, you must be happy. And what better way to accompany a smile than a catchy tune? And jingles were all the rage in the 80s.
Swanson's cooking just for you.
It's gonna be a great day. Take time and understand. It's so nice to live. So good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay, I think you get it. The feeling at the time was that jingles were the lowest common denominator of advertising, and everyone in the industry hated doing them. Too embarrassed to actually give the jingle project to his team at GSD&M, Executive Creative Director Guy Bommarito sat down and in 5 minutes wrote the 9 words that changed everything for Chili's.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
The song Chili's, Welcome to Chili's, was produced and sung by Tom Faulkner, while vocalist Willie Wolf McCoy was brought in for that unforgettable part. They did use music in the restaurant, but instead of showing happy customers, they showed the staff's enthusiasm for working there. I mean, these people are just actors, but you get what I'm saying. Bommarito left GSD&M a few years after the song was released, thinking it would only be around for a few months, then dropped, like thousands of other ads he's worked on before.
I thought it would be gone after 6 weeks.
But in 1989, GSD&M brought the song back, but with a twist to make it more of a ballad about the dining experience, rather than just a catchy jingle that gets stuck in your head.
I love my baby, baby, baby back ribs. Oh yeah.
GSD&M must have talked Chili's out of music altogether, because their commercials in the early 90s follow a similar formula as their first ever advertisement. But I think Chili's realized that catchiness is what got people to constantly think about their menu, even if it was just one specific item. Because in the mid-90s, GSD&M had the track re-recorded with an a cappella group, Take 6.
Chili's baby back ribs. Chili's baby back ribs.
Barbecue sauce.
And I mean, have you ever seen a group of dudes so passionate to be singing about ribs? This version was played over top of a series of commercials that featured stop-motion animated chili peppers. But by the end of the 90s, Chili's took a break from the song again to bring out more simple animated ads that uses chilies like dogs, and a couple of ads that feature the food, which, of course, show people smiling. None of the spots had anything to do with the baby back ribs jingle, but it did include music.
I love that fire grill, citrus thrill, flavor filled. Chili's is the.
This needs to stop now.
By the early 2000s, the restaurant wars were in full force, and everyone had their own version of Bite and Smile, including their direct competitor,
Applebee's.
Chili's was exploding again after the popularity of the old jingle being featured in 1999's Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me. GSD&M knew they had to feed off the popularity of the movie Resurrected, but they wanted Chili's to stand out among their competition, just like their 1986 commercial that wasn't focused on customers. That's why, in 2002, GSD&M launched a series of commercials for Chili's enlisting the help of NSYNC.
I want my baby back. Ribs.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back.
They followed up with a spot where the four members of the band are talking about an addiction Justin Timberlake has.
I remember when Justin hit rock bottom.
So I'm giving my
The punchline being he's addicted to Chili's ribs.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Chili's baby back.
They ran these spots for a few years, and in 2004, the agency created a commercial that merges the comedy and jingle worlds they've been juggling between. A spot titled Canyon has three guys listening to their echoes in the Grand Canyon, and one guy pulls out the old,
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
but his echo replies with,
Let's go.
I bring this spot up because this is the only time they modified the jingle where they don't actually have to sing it. At this point, I feel like the Chili's executives must have gotten real tired of the song, regardless of how well it was doing for baby back ribs, because Chili's officially retired the jingle in 2006, and for the remainder of the year, GSD&M would create ads that border between funny and cheesy. But they don't make me hungry, and they certainly don't stick inside your brain, so the agency would go back to a brand new jingle coincidentally named Welcome to Chili's, where they would literally just sing that. But it barely survived the year, and by the start of 2007, GSD&M was running a new campaign where a huge Chili's logo would always appear to guide people like the brainless idiots that they are. Near the end of 2007, Chili's was outperforming many of its rivals in traffic, but still saw 6 consecutive months of sales declining in stores. This was around the same time that the stock market was crashing and the world was about to go into another recession. Figuring they needed to cut costs, Chili's finally fired GSD&M. But you have to give the ad agency credit. After the initial threat of being fired in 1986, they were still able to cling on to the account for 21 more years, making some great spots along the way. Still needing to advertise, Chili's found themselves in Boston, Massachusetts, at Hill Holiday, who continued the giant Chili's pepper in different locations. The agency evolved to their own style of advertising using, you guessed it, some bite and smile. But in 2009, Hill Holiday tried something different, and they bought a commercial slot immediately following the opening monologue of an episode of Saturday Night Live. But they didn't advertise Chili's, it was about a fictional restaurant named PJ Bland's. The Chili's logo is visible for like 2 seconds and SNL continues. Hill Holiday continued to push PJ Bland's on other networks and mixed in some other ads that brought back the Welcome to Chili's greeting. But again, both these commercials fall into the kind of boring and definitely not memorable categories. In 2010, Hill Holiday brings out of retirement the Baby Back Jingle. Well, kind of. In a more social media driven push, Hill Holiday thought it would be a great idea to have people recreate the song with their own custom lyrics. It wasn't. Then, Chili's went dark for a few years, only posting a few videos on social media to keep up with what was trendy at the time. I mean, who didn't do a Harlem Shake? They stayed pretty quiet until 2015, when Hill Holiday brought the jingle back yet again for Chili's 40th anniversary, doing a better job this time around at getting real people to post their versions of the jingle because they just had them sing the actual song. In 2016, Hill Holiday ditched the jingle yet again and tried to pair older looking footage with some real music, which I won't play here because I'm not about to get claimed. The ads are supposed to show you the heritage of Chili's, but it just didn't seem to stick around very long, and Chili's decided to move on from Hill Holiday. Chili's ended up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at agency Mithun. Mithun takes Chili's into a strategy focused on the freshness of the food, but this lasted like a hot minute, because before the end of 2016, Mithun was shut down by parent company McCann after losing historic accounts, Land O'Lakes, and Toro. In 2017, Chili's started working with Chicago-based agency O'Keefe, Reinhardt & Paul, also known as OKRP. They produce these short, awesome spots that are a send-off to a few of their favorite Chili's dishes to promote that the restaurant had cut 40% of their menu. But OKRP just couldn't help themselves, and in 2017, they brought it back.
Our old song was baby back, baby back, baby back. It was about ribs cause that was our thing. Our new ribs are bigger, the whole menu's better, so we changed the song to be bigger than ribs. Chili's is back, baby back, baby back. Oh baby, Chili's is back, baby back, baby back.
Wait a minute. How many times have they brought the jingle back?
On the five time.
Oh yeah. This revamped version takes inspiration from those Hill Holiday ads we saw back in 2010. They decided that anything can be a baby back song with the right beat, and they used it to promote that they indeed did have a smaller, more focused menu. But it introduced the world to Trevor. No, Trevor can in fact go. But as fast as the new version of the jingle came, it quickly devolved into just being used in the background in their new 2020 Welcome to Eat It campaign, which just all I'll say is, Bite and Smile is on full force again.
Together, we Chili's.
The song is like the Conor McGregor of jingles and just won't retire. So why can't Chili's just let the song go? Maybe it's because it was named #1 song most likely to get stuck in your head by Ad Age in 2004. Beating out aggressive competition like We Will Rock You from Pepsi's Super Bowl 34 spot, and the Kit Kat jingle.
Oh, give me a break, give me a break, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat pie.
Maybe it's the fact that they can't stop being referenced in pop culture. And I even found it referenced in a few commercials for brands that aren't even Chili's.
Lobster mac, baby back, pork chops. Give me some ribs, ribs.
They wrote a jingle about ribs. Fridays is writing a symphony.
And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm missing more examples. Also, do you remember Willie McCoy, the guy who sang the original barbecue sauce line from the 1986 version of the song?
Barbecue sauce.
He unfortunately passed away in 2012, but that wasn't going to stop TLC from making content. His family was featured on an episode of Best Funeral Ever, a short-lived series aired in 2013, and McCoy is in one of the episodes. He actually has a barbecue-themed funeral, decked out with a spit roast casket, a sauce fountain, and of course, baby back ribs. He was also accompanied by pallbearers who sang a modified Willie's baby back ribs as they carried his casket. I'm not kidding you. This actually happened, and it's fucking wild. Guy Bommarito literally changed his brand's legacy in 5 minutes and with 9 words. And he's never even had a Chili's baby back rib. Guy wanted to be remembered for more than just this jingle, which, oops, because I just made a whole video about it. So let's give a shout out to some other stuff I can find his credits on.
My plate, got my barbecue sauce on the side. I got potato salad, barbecue beans, and some French fries. See, the ribs are so tender and juicy, the meat is falling right off the bone. I can't go on singing this song. It's time to get my grip on. Thinking about touches my mouth, touches my mind. Makes me feel the flavor so real. Ribs, baby back ribs, my baby back ribs. Ooh, I can't stop thinking about when it touches my mouth. The way it makes me feel the flavor so real. Ooh, ribs.
Soon as this quarantine's over, I'm going to Chili's. As soon as this quarantine's over, I'm going to Chili's, yeah. As soon as this quarantine's done, I'm gonna give me some down at Chili's. As soon as this quarantine's over, I'm going to Chili's. As soon as this quarantine's over, I'm going to Chili's.